What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Brian Sports Hub. If you're new here, my name is Brian, and I'm the host of this podcast. And today, I'm going over my top 5 NFL MVP candidates after Week 6 of the NFL. Week 7 just started this past Thursday, last night, and it was Saints-Broncos kicking off. So now, before we get into the big games coming up Sunday and Monday, I want to give you guys my top 5 NFL MVP candidates right now. So I'm going to send you to the intro, and then I'll meet you guys back here, and we can jump right into the content. All right, so starting off my list, I have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has undoubtedly been the best running back in the NFL right now. He is leading in multiple rushing categories, including yards with 704, touchdowns with 8, and yards per game with 117. He is truly looking unstoppable and looking like he's still in his prime at just 30 years old. He is really proving a case to have an MVP debate for him. And if he fulfills these projections, so he is projected to have just under 2,000 rushing yards and have 22 rushing touchdowns. If he fulfills those projections, this will be the best running back season we've seen since Larry Johnson in 2005 when he ran for 1,750 yards and 20 touchdowns. Like I said, Derrick Henry is looking unstoppable. He is looking unguardable, and he's looking as dominant as ever. And if he can fulfill those projections, he will have a strong case to earn and to receive the MVP award for the NFL. Moving on to number 4, I have Baker Mayfield, a really feel-good story if you've watched his career. But this year, he is looking on a whole nother level. He is looking and projected to have a career season this year, and hopefully surpass 4,000 yards for the first time ever in his career. Right now, he has Tampa Bay fighting for a division title. They are still in there in contention. It's also week 6, so it's pretty early anyway. But they're still in a good spot to contend for that division title. And if you look at his stats, right now he is the most passing touchdowns by any QB in the NFL with 15. He's 4th in completion percentage with 70%, and he's top 10 in yards and rating. Now, rating is a measurement they use that depicts or that shows the effectiveness of a QB's passing performance. This includes stats like interceptions, touchdowns, yards, and completions. And then if you also look at his QBR, which is a different stat, he is 12th in that in the league. The QBR measures all of a QB's contributions. So this includes all turnovers, fumbles, and interceptions. It includes rushing and passing stats, and then completions and interceptions and so forth. So if you look at all that, he is looking top of the league. He is top 5, arguably top 10 at the very least. The only knock on him right now is his 5 interceptions. Now, granted, 3 of them came last week in the 51-27 blowout win over the Saints, but he still threw for 4 touchdowns. And if you take out last week and you look at just weeks 1 through 5, he had 11 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, which is about a 5.5 to 1 ratio. He is looking phenomenal. He has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fighting for a playoff spot and fighting for a division title. And if he keeps up this pace and keeps up this record-setting or this career season for himself, he definitely has an MVP candidate or MVP, or he has the ability to win the MVP and has a strong case to win the MVP. Moving on to number 3, I have Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow is, I would say, quietly having a very good season. The only reason I say quietly is because the team is not performing well. Right now, the record's 2-4. This is why Joe Burrow is not higher on my list, and I think it's why he's also not higher on many other MVP lists. So if you look at his stats and you take away the record, he is the best, or arguably the best QB right now in the NFL. He is top 5 in every major category you need. He's 5th in passing yards with 1,578. He's tied for 2nd in touchdowns with 12. He's 2nd right now in QBR. He's 1st in QB rating, and he's only thrown 2 interceptions on the year. He is looking phenomenal. The offense is clicking. The only issue right now is the defense hasn't been able to hold teams. So they get in these shootouts, but they just end up losing because they just don't have the stamina from the offense to get through it and the defense just really is not performing up to standard. For that reason, the Cincinnati Bengals are at 2-4, and MVPs tend to not be selected on losing teams. I can't remember off the top of my head the last time an MVP was selected or was given to a player on a team that was below 500. And right now, the way the Bengals are looking, it looks like they'll be finishing below 500. I think Joe Burrow, behind these incredible stats, I think he can absolutely bring the Bengals up to a playoff contention. But they're going to have to turn it around quick if they want to get there, because the gap from playoff teams to non-playoff teams is starting to get bigger. And if he wants to do it, they're going to have to turn around quickly so they can get that. But nonetheless, if Joe Burrow continues on this pace and the Bengals can turn around their season a little bit and get up above 500, I see no reason that Joe Burrow would not be in the top 3 debates for MVP. Moving on to number 2, I have the rookie sensation, Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels has been phenomenal this year, almost surpassing or looking like he will surpass CJ Stroud's phenomenal rookie season from last year. He is looking like a franchise QB. He has been absolutely great. He is right now on a pace that we have never seen before. So far, people have projected that he will finish with 4,000 plus passing yards, and 1,000 plus rushing yards, which has never been done by a QB. The only QB to come close to that was Lamar when he rushed for 1,000 yards and passed for 3,000 yards in a season. That is the only QB to ever do 3,000 plus passing, 1,000 plus rushing. On top of that, Jayden Daniels has led this Commanders team that had the second overall pick, which means they had the second worst record last year, to a 4-2 record, leading the NFC East division with the Cowboys and Eagles behind them. He has done great. He has looked phenomenal in this offense, and he even leads the league in completion percentage with 75% completion rate. He is, like I said, he is a great rookie. He is right now the by far favorite to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he is really making a case to almost be the favorite for the MVP. In addition to his completion percentage, he's also top 10 in passing yards and top 25 in rushing. So he's looking really good. His QBR and his QB ratings are both in the top 5 as well. If he continues on this track and continues going down and getting better with these stats and holding these stats and fulfilling these projections, he will absolutely have a case for MVP, which is why I have him at 2. He has looked like he has at least looked like a top 5 quarterback, if not the second best quarterback in the NFL. And with that comes the expectation that he may win MVP, and that's why I have him at 2. Going on to number 1, it is Lamar Jackson. The reigning MVP is looking like the MVP frontrunner right now. He is arguably the best NFL player in the league right now. His stats speak for themselves. He is top 10 in passing. He is top 10 in rushing. He's top 10 in passing touchdowns. He's top 10 in QBR rating, and he's top 10 in QB rating. He is pretty much the best all-around player that you have seen, or at least the best dual threat QB or all-around QB that you see right now in the NFL. He is performing up to standard. He is leading the number 1 offense in the league right now that's averaging 30 points per game, and he is managing it to perfection. If you look at his stats and you look at the projections, he's on pace for 4,300 passing yards and 1,100 rushing yards. There's even a projection that he might break his rushing yard record of 1,206 yards and still pass for more than 4,300 yards, which has never been done. Like I said, when I was talking about Jayden Daniels, 4,000 and 1,000 in passing and rushing yards has never been done before. And this season, we might have 2 QBs surpass that monument or that stat right there. And it's really shocking. Now, if you look, he does have 2 interceptions on his record, which is not bad at all. But if you look at how the interceptions happen, both of them were thrown to the receiver. Receiver just happened to hit off the hands wrong, ends up getting picked. But nonetheless, he is making smart decisions. He is looking like he's getting right into the peak of his prime. And he is just making smart decisions, taking care of the football, and he's really just getting this team to win. If you remember, the Ravens started 0-2. A lot of people had the Ravens down. And Lamar, behind that offense, behind their other MVP candidate in Derrick Henry, they've been able to bring this team back up to 4-2. And for that reason, with Lamar being at the helm and being the one that touches the ball and makes the decisions the most on that offense, I have him at number 1, and that's also why I have him above Derrick Henry. So nonetheless, that is my list. Recapping it, I have Derrick Henry, the running back for the Baltimore Ravens, at number 5. I have Baker Mayfield, the QB for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at number 4. I have Joe Burrow, the QB for the Cincinnati Bengals, at number 3. I have Jaden Daniels, the rookie sensation quarterback for the Washington Commanders, at number 2. And then I have the reigning MVP, Lamar Action Jackson, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, at my number 1 candidate to win MVP. So thank you all for tuning in. I had a lot of fun making this list because it's impressive to watch. It's fun to watch. The season's just getting heated right now because now all of a sudden all the playoff races are playing and all the award and Super Bowl predictions are all going. So thank you all for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Remember, this is Brian Sports Hub, your source for sports.